Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little late. I had some technical difficulties, but I got it fixed. So, welcome to Coven of Curiosities, my wonderful listeners. So, I hope you're gathering around, dreamers and seekers, and let's weave the tapestry of life, myth, mystery, and the unknown. Pull up that chair and watch that show of the unknown and prepared to be enlightened and enchanted. Welcome to Coven of Curiosities. Today I have, as some of you probably have seen, I have my one of my favorite guests. I did a show with him in the past on and off, and I would like to bring him out instead of giving all this big, huge bio information. I would like to bring out Tim Dills from the NCI Show. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Miss Cindy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm just sitting here watching the snow melt.
And sir, I am so sorry for this technical difficulties. Sometimes Giggles gets a little has Alzheimer's a little bit, getting that older age bracket, 54, and yeah. I wish I was going younger.
It ain't Alzheimer's, it's part-timers.
Oh, part-time. There we go. I like that better. Part-timers is much, much better.
I've got it broke down since I'm getting in that age. It's part-timers, most of the timers, and then all.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, my goodness. So tell us, how have you been?
Been good, been busy, been doing a lot of investigating and all of that stuff. Even through hunting season, I was getting messed with through hunting season, so it's been busy.
Yeah, I've been noticing on your page and your posts, you've been very, very busy posting and going out in the woods and doing what you love to do, which we'll be talking about soon. But I wanted to bring in another person. She's a good friend of yours, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to introduce her and let's bring her on in?
I sure will. Her name is Rachel Jones. She is, she's just a great squatcher. She is also teaching me a lot in the paranormal stuff
Nice.
Because that never was in my wheelhouse, but with her help, I'm learning a lot. She's great on the history of the area where we live, of things like that. We live in Western North Carolina. We're right in the middle of what used to be years ago, the Cherokee Indian Nation, and so we've got a lot of that kind of history plus other history, and she just knows it all. So I like to, I just let her take over.
Let's bring her in since she wants to take. Have her take over. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, how is everybody?
Good. How are you? I'm glad you joined with us. Tim's like, I'm going to let Rachel know because I told him I wanted you on as well because I watched you on the NCI show and I loved hearing your experiences. And so I'm like, I got to have her on mine, so, but I appreciate you coming on. So how did y'all meet? How did y'all become friends?
You want me to tell them?
Sure, I guess I can. I had a Sasquatch track that I'd found that I had a picture of, and my mom actually put me in touch with Tim. I sent him that picture, and from there we started hitting the woods, going researching.
Yeah. And that's how it all started.
Yeah, that's how it all started now.
And then, so how often do you guys go out and into the woods to do that?
Probably about every chance we get, don't we?
Yeah.
The snow would melt, we'd be out right now.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Every chance we get.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So tell us, Tim. So you've got new stuff. The NCI show is now totally live on YouTube. All the guys, you, George Lunsford, You got Jerry Millwood Jr. You've got Brian from Boom, was it Bigfoot of Michigan? Which I have a couple of his. I still have to hang stuff up in my apartment, so that's why you're seeing my background as my logo. I got to hang up all my cool stuff yet still, and then we've got Robert Effler, and so like you guys are just now. You guys are rocking it on YouTube.
We actually are, and thanks everybody that tunes in and watches us. I mean, because if you didn't, there wouldn't be no reason for us doing it. But we've really got things have really taken off. We've really got some good evidence with Rachel's help, of course, because I get to go squatching with her more than I do any of the guys because they live a little further away, and she's just over the next county over where I actually grew up at. So we can hit it. But we have NCI is really stepping up, getting a lot of stuff, figuring out a lot of stuff. There's when you get into this, you always come away with more questions than you do answers, but we are getting some answers too. So that's the fun part of it.
Okay. So where's your guys' favorite place? Well, you don't have to say like the desk, like is it behind y'all's backyard or is it a different location? Do you go way out in the woods? Like obviously it's near your guys' house, right? Or your homes, sort of?
Well, actually we've got a couple of places. Me and Rachel and a friend of hers just went a couple of weeks ago up behind her mom's house because they was having goats killed. They had lost 15 goats last year. And no bones, no nothing, just gone. And the fence they have, it ain't going to be no coyote or nothing like that getting into it. It had to be something big that could step over that fence. But that's been a real hot spot, not only for the cryptids, but also for the paranormal part of it. We've got a place here, a couple places here in the county where I live that has been a hot spot, but I've talked about it so much, people started finding out where it was at. So this year, it sort of slacked off some, still getting quite a bit of stuff, but we've got in new areas. I've got 5 or 6 areas that I know they're in that I've never actually tried to research because I've had such good luck in the other areas. So we've always got a backup plan, but I'll let Miss Rachel tell you about some of the stuff going on over there on their property, especially in that house. It's crazy.
Oh, really? Oh, do tell Rachel. I'm excited to hear. I love paranormal.
We've had a ton of EVPs. The knocking started again. My mother, she lives right over next to the old farmhouse. She's been having knocking on her door at night now.
Really?
We've been seeing eye shine over across the fence. We put up a camera up there facing inside the house, and it was inside the electric fence, so nothing would bother it or get to it. Went back and got the camera, and all the footage was just gone. There was 755 pictures, and
they were gone.
Yeah, I could never pull the full footage. Every device I hooked it up to, laptop, my phone, everything. It just it kept shutting everything down. But I lost all the pictures. It makes me sick to my stomach. 755 pictures in almost a week. We didn't have
wow. And all that time it took you to build all those photos. And I can just imagine how you would feel. Like, oh, that's terrible. So when your mom's experiencing the knocks or hearing the knocks, how many knocks is it? Is it consistent 3? Is it just random knock, or what kind of knocks are they?
I'm not really sure. I'd have to ask her about that.
Tim's got a call.
I forgot to put my phone on silent. That's how professional I am. That's
Oh, I
that
love
part timers I was talking about.
it. Right. So what else so besides the EVPs, like what has come through? Names, dates?
I don't think they've gave us any names. We were
Oh, gotcha.
around and there was a female voice that stayed with us the entire time. She told us that she was following us. Whenever we
Oh,
were walking up close to my grandmother's house, it said granddaughter. She came across EVP and said granddaughter.
that's interesting. So do you and your family sit down and talk about this kind of stuff? I mean, on a regular basis about paranormal and what's going on around your home and your mom's home?
A little bit. I don't think my mom really likes to talk about it much.
Okay.
There's
I
a lot
gotcha.
going on up there, but I think it scares her a little bit. So
Yeah.
I
Have
decided I
you
don't want to talk about it.
some people are like that, and it's okay, whatever they're comfortable with, you know what I mean? That's why I
Um,
always tell my guests, just share what you want to share and whatever you're comfortable with. But I always do try to encourage people to share as much as they can, because I know it's really helped me in my paranormal experiences, because my first experience was when I was a kid. So I saw my grandfather, because that was my first death experience. And then ever since then, it's just eventually grown and everything. And now it's to the point where I'm definitely working on my abilities, and I'm not ashamed of my abilities anymore like I used to be. And now I'm more open to talk about them, because I'm just to the point where it's like there's still some hesitation a little bit, because people will still judge, oh, you're crazy, oh, you're just this, you're this, and it's like, no, I'm not actually, you know what I mean? So that's why I started my own paranormal team here in California, Federal Paranormal Investigators. So we're going to the Biltmore Hotel actually this coming weekend on the 8th, and do a full-on investigation. So
that's
I'm super. What's that?
That sounds like fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I'm going to try on my Federal Paranormal Investigation YouTube channel. I'm going to try to go live while we're there for at least an hour. And, so that people can maybe enjoy watching and kind of feeling like they're there with us, and I want people to comment, if they see something, as we're investigating, because sometimes we're not going to always see things. Maybe the guests will, or the people that are watching will see things that we're not seeing. So I'm going to try to set that all up and everything. I ended up getting a pretty decent room. It's a studio suite. So there's enough room, to lay out the equipment, use what we're going to use, set up our cameras and all that kind of stuff. So I just been buying paranormal equipment like crazy. And I'm telling you, it's like, so I get it. And I'm like, yes, I am so excited. Like a EMF reader. I just got a FLIR. I'm super excited about. Can you guys see it? Yeah, I can't wait. So it's where you can scan and it tells you if there's cold spots and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. But anyway, enough about me. So what other kind of paranormal experiences have you guys had besides seeing cryptids and footprints out in the woods? Have you guys experienced anything together out there or caught anything?
Well, yeah, we've caught quite a bit on the SLS camera and the EVP on the EVP, just out in 6-7 miles back in the woods, a place we called Old Ball. We was coming out of there and just stopped and thought we'd check, and there's somebody standing right there beside the truck. And when she turned her EVP on, the first thing it said was Rachel. I mean, the second it turned on, it said Rachel. And
that's interesting.
And so we've actually been having quite a bit. I was going to get her to tell you about her grandma's lift chair.
Okay.
What happened to it the other day?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. It was the night after we'd been walking around in the woods and that female voice had been following us, talking to us, yapping our ear off over EVP. We kept telling her that we were going to come back down to the house that night and do an EVP session with her and, come back. And she kept asking, come visit, kept saying, come back. So
Oh,
I kept telling her we'd go back down there to that house that night and do an EVP session. Well,
yeah.
never made it down there, and I think she got mad, or somebody did. I was staying up at my grandmother's house, and the stair chair, the lift chair on the stairs, just started going absolutely insane. Started beeping, woke me up. I think it's 5:15 in the morning. I go,
Really?
I completely unplugged the thing, and it doesn't have a battery backup. I go lay back down, try to go back to sleep, and the alarm goes off on it again. And there is nothing. I mean, it's completely unplugged out of the wall.
Oh, wow. Okay, you
Still,
definitely have some activity going on. So do you think it is one of your grandmas then, the one that's
I'm thinking it has to be a relative. It was all my
okay.
relatives that grew up in that house, and I know it said during the Great Depression there was like 24 people living in there at one time. But I was
Okay.
related to every one of them.
Oh, so your grandma is, sorry, I misunderstood then. So your grandma's still alive, and she uses that chair to go up and down the stairs. But somebody, obviously a spirit, was making it go off. Is that my understanding now? Sorry if I
Yeah.
misunderstood. Okay,
Yes.
sorry about that.
My grandma was upstairs asleep, and it was just me and
Okay.
her. But yeah, the alarm kept going off. Like I said, I took the whole cord and pulled it out of the wall, and the thing's still going crazy.
That's wow. Did you happen to film or use your phone to capture that?
I did not. I wish I would have.
Yeah, that would have been a good caught or good catch of paranormal experience. That's pretty amazing. What else kind of crazy stuff have you had experiences in that house? Anything else like with toys moving or with silverware or anything like that?
There's been a lot of knocking. Anytime you go out there, right now my mother is hearing the knocking at her house. Also, the neighbor. I went out and talked to her the other night. We were talking about, some of the history around here, and we were talking about the old house. Well, I had left and walked back up the hill. She texted me the next morning and said, "I thought you forgot something here." She said, "As soon as I left, the knocking on her door started." And she said it sounded just exactly like my knock.
What? Really? But you're not
She
sure
was,
if it's like dunk dunk or 3 knocks? You're not sure yet how many knocks?
I'm not sure. I'll have to get with one
Mm,
of them and ask them, but everybody around there in that little area has been hearing it.
really? That's just
The
crazy. Go ahead, Tim.
the crazy thing about that place is when it that female voice told her that she wanted her soul.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that too. I asked her what
Wait,
she wanted, and
yeah.
she came back over at EVP and she said, "I want your soul."
Okay, that's not good.
And there's a one
Oh
of
no.
uh, the last goat that died was
Yeah,
inside of there, and that's what we had the camera on that got the 755 pictures, and it's moved 2 or 3 times around in that room.
really.
It's moved again now.
Hmm.
Since I went out there the other day and got the camera back out, it had been moved again.
So when you guys review the camera footage, are you seeing anything?
That's what got erased when she
Oh,
tried
all
to.
that stuff that got oh, it's that camera that got erased.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
It was off of that
Yeah.
camera, and it took 755 pictures in about a week. We went back whenever I went back and got the camera. The batteries were almost dead, but they're all completely gone. I lost every one of the pictures. Makes me sick to my stomach.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I thought it was your cell phone camera. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it was the trail cam that we had inside that old house. We had it tied to a window where the baby goat was laying there in the living room
Yeah.
floor. And
Wow.
one of the pictures is just gone now. We're gonna try to go back out there and set up some more cameras, but those were
Mhm.
brand new cameras whenever the one was a brand new camera whenever I took it out there, and I can't get there was 2 of them in a box. I can't get either one of them to work now. One
Okay,
of them
that's interesting. So even fresh new batteries and everything in it, it still won't work.
fresh batteries, brand new SD cards still will not work.
Oh my, wow. Whatever the spirit did, it sure corrupted the whole entire thing. That's crazy. What do you think of all this, Tim? Now that you're kind of
Um,
getting more back into or getting into the paranormal now.
it the first experience I had was when me and my buddies in NCI went to Land Between the Lakes. We was at a graveyard, and I was watching a black mass with my thermal, and I felt something pull my coat tail. And I thought,
Really?
no, I'm just thinking because of where we are. Nothing did. And that thought hadn't no more cleared my mind, and it pulled me hard enough to make me take a step backwards. So I'm actually liking this better because they played more than Bigfoots and the Dogmans do. They're jerks. They stay hidden. You have to do everything on their time, but the ghost is like, well, you can't see me, so ha 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 ha. I mean, I'm having fun with it.
I love it. That's true. Well, and the thing of it is, though, there are times spirits will talk if they want to. Not all the time do they want to talk or communicate or show themselves or move things. They'll do it on their time too. It's just a matter of having patience. But I get where you're coming from, because it seems like when you have those paranormal hotspots where there's a lot of activity, you're going to possibly get either a little bit or you're going to get a lot. It all just depends on what they want to do. You know what I mean? Just like when we go to the Biltmore Hotel, which is known to be a good hotspot. They used that hotel way back in the day. I think it was for World War II is what I read. They used it for injured soldiers, and they would place them there so they could heal or whatever, but some did pass away. And then, of course, the Black Dahlia. Some people have heard that story. But Elizabeth Short, she was visiting her sister there. And as she left a few blocks down, that's where she ended up, being killed and everything. And she just was mutilated it's like an American Jack the Ripper that pretty much it was horrible, just horrible what she went through. But she's been known to be seen there. And then we did a little, my field researcher, Jimmy, he looked into things a little bit more. And he said there is a faceless little boy that runs around down in when the front entrance, when you check in and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait because, me, I love that stuff. And so it's just, we'll see what we can get. I'm hoping I've got some new stuff that I'm going to try out this time to see if the spirits will communicate in a different way. I'll be using my dowsing rods because I started getting into that a few months back. Actually, that was last year. So, and I've got some of these little witching bells. And what you do is you just hang them somewhere, whether on a doorknob or whatever. I'm going to see if I can't rig something up to where they're kind of just hanging loose, hanging across a string, so that if a spirit walks by, it will go ting, 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 jingle, jingle and stuff, and see what I can get. And then, of course, we got the cat balls and all that stuff to see and REM pods and, all that fun stuff. So, I'm excited about that one. So do you guys have anything coming up soon that you guys are going to do together?
Well, as soon as the weather gets cleared up, we're going to go put some more cameras in that old house, and we're also going to put one of my audio recorders in there. It'll record 24 hours a day for 2 weeks. So, and just talking about them, this is what is funny to me. They'll talk to Rachel. Me and her's running the same map on our phones. And they'll talk on hers, and they won't say nothing on mine.
Really?
Mine will be completely. I mean, I might as well just stand outside and wait on her to get done. Because and I'm like, well, I want to play too, but for some reason they like talking to her. And one of the things that we was talking about earlier before the show. Me and Rachel was talking about those pictures that she had, and I've got audio of a Bigfoot coming up, and the reason I know what it done was because I filmed it like that, and I got it off the audio recorder. But it walked up and smelled of my audio recorder, took the lid off, packed it full of dirt, put the lid back on, and this whole time it's smelling it. and then it throws it down and takes off running, and you can hear the heavy footsteps. It's boom, 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 and a small one takes off behind it, and you can hear the small one make a couple of noises, but I cannot get it off that card. It, I'm serious. I can erase it and get completely rid of it, but when I put it in all of I've got 3 different audio things that I use to break it down with, and none of them will touch it.
Really?
Yep.
That's really interesting.
I can take another file, put it in there, and it'll work fine. But when it gets to that one, on that one file in the 48 hours that it recorded, it had the Bigfoot on it quite a bit, breaking trees, that kind of stuff. And for some reason, that file will not unload and let me break it down without having to listen to the whole 48, 49 hours of it. So that's another reason I like. At least it messes with her stuff, and I ain't got to deal with it.
That's funny. So what's new besides the, I'm sorry that you guys are dealing with all that cold weather and the ice and the snow and everything, but what do you guys, once it warms up, do you guys have any plans to any trips to go anywhere or venture outside of North Carolina and do some investigating, whether it's paranormal or Bigfoot, Dogman?
We're hoping we're hoping to get to go to Georgia in April.
Okay.
We're supposed to meet up with some more people down there. We're just sort of playing it by ear right now, trying to get, make sure everything's going to work out.
Right.
And I want to go back to Land Between the Lakes, and hopefully if we get to go, she'll get to go with us this time and everything, because we could just set her out there and put the cameras on her and say, all right, go ahead. And get all the footage we need. I mean, it sounds funny, but that's just the way it. We've got one Bigfoot up in my area, and she named it Woody because it likes to mimic a woodpecker.
Oh,
and
really?
We walk in, we'll get to one spot, and it'll start making the sound. It'll follow us till we get to another spot, and it'll stop. And it'll keep making the sound off and on. And then when we come back to where it's at, it'll follow us back down to the first spot and quit. So she's got them all tamed. I just go with her to see what she's going to do.
What were you going to say, Rachel? Where would you like to travel to?
We were talking about going over to Cades Cove as soon as, I think the Parkway is shut down right now. Maybe as soon as Parkway gets opened back up, go over there and do some paranormal investigation. That's supposed to be a hot spot over there.
Really? So for us people in the West Coast, what's Cave Cove, and can you tell us a little bit about it?
Cades Cove is a old. Tim could probably tell you more about it than I do. There's a bunch of old houses. Go ahead.
There's a bunch of what? Sorry.
When they come in and made the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, this valley back in there had its own village, pretty much, whatever you want to call it. And they didn't need to leave outside of it. They had everything they needed in there. And when they come in to make the park, they run everybody out. And the old houses are standing just like they was then. The old churches, the graveyards are there, all of that stuff. And not all the people left. Some of them just hit the woods, and I don't know if they've still got descendants living as feral people or what, but there's an awful lot of reports of them over in there. So whenever the government come in and told them to leave, some did, some didn't, and but there's a lot of history over there, especially back during the Civil War and that kind of stuff. There's one church that they couldn't decide on the pastor. One group wanted one guy and another group wanted another guy. And the church actually split down the middle. The building split down the middle.
What? Are you serious? They actually split a church down the middle because they couldn't
completely
decide.
Down the middle. And they took boards and took wide boards and nailed it to where that it would keep it from separating anymore. But the church building actually split straight down the middle.
Wow. That's interesting. Oh my gosh. So up in this cave cove, I'm assuming there's a lot of, is there Bigfoot and other type of cryptids that are up there as well besides the paranormal then? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, we've actually got Bigfoot's on thermal from there. I'm in another group too called Sasquatch Recon, and I've been over there quite a few times with them. And me and Dwight was over there going to check their trail cameras, and he told me, he said, "Stop," said, "It went right behind this tree." And there's an old blowed up tree about 500 yards out. And this is in the middle of the day. And I got my thermal out and I could see its elbow come out. I could see top of its head moving, its shoulder and that kind of stuff. And this woman drives up and my truck's decked out with Bigfoot stuff, and stickers and decals. She said, "Have you ever seen one of them in here? And this loop, you ain't supposed to get over 10 miles an hour. It's just a slow drive back through the country and all of that." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, we're watching one right now." She jumped in her car, and I ain't never seen one get out of there so fast in my life. I mean, she floored it. She took off. And just recently back in the fall, in the summer, first of fall, I went over there with them, and I had to leave on Friday, and they stayed Friday night into Saturday. And the night that I was over there with them, we go into it. You can't go through the gate after dusky dark. So what we do is, and I probably shouldn't be saying this because everybody's going to do it and then we won't be able to, but we go and find a place and pull over and let everybody else go through. And then 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night, we crank up and come through doing our squatching stuff. But there's a certain place that we like to pull over and call from and just listen because it's a good advantage area. And the night we was over there, not a whole lot went on, just some weird owl calls that might have been a booger. But the next night, as they was leaving that same area, Dwight's on his electric bicycle. He takes off, and Bob and another guy's in Bob's rig, and a rock comes in and hits his back window so hard it takes a chunk out of his back glass.
Oh,
and
my God.
You can hear them because they got the audio recorder running. And what the was that? And it scared the far out of them. So there are definitely dog men and Bigfoots over there for sure. That much we do personally.
So when you guys were at the LBL, because I heard, I was on the Tracy Jones show, Beyond the Veil, and her and I had a blast. She even had technical difficulties too. So as part of the nature, I guess, when you're doing this stuff. But she mentioned that when she was there, she did the God helmet and then the Estes method right afterwards. And she said it was an experience that she might try again, but she said it was just something else. The stuff that she was, seeing and explaining to y'all. I guess I didn't know if you guys were on, because she said she was further out in the field and you guys were on, further out away. Were you guys communicating like over walkie-talkies and stuff like that to be able to know what she was saying?
Me and George wasn't there yet when she done it, but we was there when Natalie Smearman done it. And if they done it the same way that they did if they done the same thing with Tracy as they did with Natalie, which I'm sure they would have, there was people close enough that if they needed to get to them, they could. They just stood there real quiet, no communications, nothing of any kind. And Tracy and Natalie both had experiences of something being around them. Well, I stood and watched Natalie the whole time, and there was nothing ever come around her.
But she sensed that
she could feel it, and it was like she was getting bum rushed and stuff like that. So that is some crazy stuff. I mean, some of the stuff that, and I still don't know because it was stuff that they wanted to keep quiet until the movie comes out. But a lot of the stuff that Tracy went through is maybe going to help them solve some murders and that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it's mind blowing. It really is. I told them they could put it on me, and all they'd get was the Cartoon Network, so they didn't want to put it on me. But it really worked good.
Yeah. You know, I've never tried the God helmet. I never even heard of one until Tracy was explaining it to me, but I've done the Estes method. I've tried the Estes method in my old home where I used to live, and it worked. And then I tried it when I was on the Queen Mary. I put it on, and definitely I got the old time piano playing back in that time era. I could totally hear it clear as day. And they do have a beautiful piano that's up there by when you check in. And I heard boom, boom, like like missiles, like the ship blowing up or something. And it startled me, because I wasn't expecting to hear that. And the ship was hit back in the day and everything. And that, we got a lot of EVPs, a lot of interaction with the dead bell. My dowsing rods, I got action with, opening and closing and spinning. And it's like, okay, because, it can get pretty crazy. And I tried the Estes method. So down here in California, we have a place that's called Old Town San Diego. And it's literally considered the very first settlers that came here to San Diego and built this town. And the Whaley House is down this area. So we stayed at the Cosmopolitan Hotel, which is very active. They said that room 10 was the most active room. We did capture things. Unfortunately, we're trying to transfer the, actually, I just need to get on his Filmora, which is the editing program. But we did capture orbs. The REM pod was going off and no one was in the room. I left one of my cameras just rolling while we were out of the room to see if we would catch anything. And we did. We caught some orbs, like I said. And then we caught, hey. And I'm like, ho, 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 ho. I'm like, I need to, hurry up because I need to finish reviewing and then finish editing so I can get that posted. But we did 3 locations in one night. We did the Cosmopolitan Hotel. We did the graveyard, the small cemetery that's down there in Old Town. Anybody can go walking through and stuff like that. I had a personal experience with a lady named Rosa that's buried there. And then we went to the Witching Tower, which they found a few years back. Some kids found a dead woman up there. Now the Witching Tower has a massive pentagram on it, and people have done rituals up there, and who knows what else has been done up there. So probably calling to spirits and stuff like that and opening up a portal. And I didn't like that place too well. I didn't feel comfortable there. And not only that, but it was kind of creepy because there was little baby cockroaches running around, and I'm like, ew, I need to get out of here. So I don't do well with bugs, man. I like cover up, But anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think the best experience that I had though was on the Queen Mary. And that's when I was down in the engine room. It has never happened to me before, ever, when I've gone investigate or did little investigations or little, I call them sessions, paranormal sesh, at my old house. Because my old house did have a lot of activity, especially the backyard. But the Queen Mary, we were down in the engine room, and there's an area that I found out later that a gentleman had died, and he was smashed between, because it's all steel down there, right? And there's a steel door frame. Well, he was smashed by this door that automatically opens and closes. And he got, they would play the game. The soldiers would play a game of running through the doorway to see who could make it through without getting stuck. Well, one of the guys didn't make it. And he literally, the door closed on him, and, they were having a hard time getting it open. But needless to say, I was down there, and all of a sudden just overcame and mind you, I didn't know the whole story when I went down there, and I just started bawling my head off. And I was doing that ugly cry. You know what I'm talking about, Rachel? You're just like, you look really ugly when you're crying. And I was doing that. Like, it was insane. And the dead bell was to the left of me, and it was going off, just ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, holy crap. But it took me a while to calm myself down. And then I felt a very, very cold spot in front of me, and I had my dowsing rods, and I was like, you're here with me, aren't you? And it closed. It went like this, because that yes is closed, open is no. And that was the most emotional one I have ever experienced, and never happened to me before, where I just all of a sudden just started bawling my head off. So it was kind of weird. But I felt like all the emotions he was going through, I could barely breathe. And it was so strange. So strange. Have you had any type of experiences like that where it kind of affected you physically, Rachel?
I don't think anything's ever affected me physically like that. I mean, I've been clawed and I had stuff thrown at me, but
okay. Clawed, you mean scratched, or like actually dug into you?
I've had scratches appear before.
Okay. Is it 3 lines or multiple lines?
Usually 3. Every time I've ever had it done, it's been 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been clawed a few times. I've paranormally investigated for, probably about my whole life.
Okay.
Since I've always had stuff happen.
So the reason why I ask about the scratches and the knocks, if the knocks are 3 knocks and your scratches are 3, that's not a good thing. So Are you wearing any type of protection at all? Like bracelets, or stones?
I don't. I always pray before I go in somewhere, and I pray before I come out, and, tell everything to stay there.
And make sure you tell them you do not have the permission to attach to me. You do not have the permission to follow me. You are to stay here where you're at. You yell it. You make sure you tell them you are not to follow me. You are not allowed to attach to me, because they will. And it sounds like you've already got someone that is following you quite often. And I'm almost kind of wondering if this female that you say is coming through a lot and you've never gotten a name from her. Have you ever asked the name?
But whenever she was following us around that day, that is one thing that I forgot to do. I forgot to tell her that she needed to stay and she was not allowed to follow me. And that's the night that she paid me a visit.
Okay. So she is definitely following you. So from my experience myself and things like that throughout my years and working on my abilities, I think you are very susceptible and you're very open. And I think that's what they know this, but never, if you show sometimes it's hard because depending on the experience that people have, it's hard to show some fear. You don't want to show the fear, but sometimes it's hard not to show fear. But I think that you possibly might be very, very open and they know this. And that's probably why this female is following you, attaching, maybe not attaching to you, but definitely trying to communicate. But the three, if it is 3 knocks and the three scratches, that's concerning to me for you. So you need to be very, very careful. Have you had any other things, marks or anything like that, or choking or anything like that?
Not lately. It's been a long time. As soon as this snow goes away, we're gonna go back up there to that house and probably try the Estes method. I want to go up there and sit in the living room where the baby goat was found and see what kind of EVPs we can get.
Okay.
I just freeze to death while we're doing it. So maybe we'll get some weather here in a week or two. We can go do that.
Okay. Well, there's definitely some things that you can do to protect yourself if you choose. My beliefs are different than others. I do practice witchcraft, but I'm not an evil witch. Just like Tracy Jones, she's a witch as well. But we study things to protect ourselves, the healing, stuff like that. Nothing negative. But when I go on my paranormal investigations, I'm always wearing obsidian, and I always forget the name, how to pronounce the stone that I have on now, this bracelet that I have. I always forget how to pronounce it properly. So I don't want to jack it all up, but it is a protection stone. And I wear my protection bracelets all the time, and everything. So actually I need to get more. But another thing is to, not that I'm saying to go and do it, but you can put crystals into your pockets. Crystals are known to help opening up more spiritual communication. I've done that where I've got little crystals and I'll put them in my pockets and use that. Now, everybody's beliefs are different. I'm not saying this is what you have to do, but if you wanted to try, you can give it a try, So, or, if you believe differently, then maybe carry your cross with you, say your prayer like you mentioned. But you definitely need to do something before you go in, and always make sure you're closing whatever you're communicating, close it up and protect yourself. It is so important. So very important.
It's all good advice.
What do you think about that, Tim?
Oh, she knows about it. I trust her. So whatever she says she's going to do, I'll have a camera setting and watching her, and of course I'll be out further away asking questions and stuff. But when it comes to that stuff, I just do what she says. She's the boss.
So you're watching over her, especially watch her when she's doing the assessment. Anytime she's communicating with the spirit, like when I go, my team, they know, because I'm opening myself up. I do allow, so I know it's kind of dangerous, but I do allow myself to open up. And I tell the spirits that you can use my energy, my body to communicate. I know it's kind of dangerous to do, but it's what I've done. But I always have my team watching me. Cameras are on. We've got 2 cameras that we use, and make sure that I'm okay, because if they see anything weird or hear me talk weird, to make sure they run to me and check on me and this and that. So definitely look for things like that when she's under the SS method, because she can't hear. She's only going to hear what the spirits are trying to talk to her about, and she can't see anything. So definitely keep an eye on her body language, and if she might be twitching a little or saying something that's odd, that's not normal about her, then you need to go and get her, because something's going on. So
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need someone to actually attach to her, because that would not be good. So yeah, but you definitely have got someone following you there, Rachel.
Yeah.
So maybe going back up there, just make sure you close that out. Make sure you let them know. You be very firm about it. You don't have to yell at them, but be very firm. You are not to follow me home. You are to stay here. You're not allowed to attach. So because the 3 scratches, that concerns me, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Well, in the same way, the one that told me it wanted to take my soul. So
yeah, that's scary. Yeah, she may not be so nice after all, So yeah.
We're also going to try some of this stuff in the places where we squatch at too.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
especially the EVPs and that kind of stuff, because I have heard people saying that they've picked up, they'll ask a question and that the Bigfoot will answer it over the EVP. And after all the stuff that's going on this year, I don't doubt nothing anymore.
And that's the thing. It's interesting that you bring that up because, I've watched your guys' show. I used to participate in the old show with you guys and everything. And, and then watching other people's shows and hearing other people talk about their experiences, whether they're cryptid or paranormal. It's like everybody's own theory from their experiences, right? But we don't really have all the answers. Like you said, we just don't. There's a lot of things that we don't understand about our world, period. So that's why I try very, very hard to stay very open about anything that's cryptid. I'm still learning about cryptid. Have I had an experience yet seeing one? No. Have I heard a Bigfoot scream over a phone? Yes, I've definitely heard that. One night, Jerry was out and he called me and he's like, I want you to hear this, because he knows how passionate I am that I want to have my experience. And he held his phone out and he's got, boogers out there and his pretty much after his fence line, and everything. And oh my gosh, hearing that thing do it, whoa, I'm like, oh, that's nothing I have ever, that's not a bear. That ain't a lion, like not lion, but you know what I mean? It's not a wild animal. That is something I have, and it gave me shivers, like goosebumps and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, it was crazy.
You wait till you're within about 40 or 50 yards of it, and it's so loud your whole body just vibrates.
That's what, you guys talked about that. Yeah, it's like being next to a speaker when you're at a concert and how it vibrates the body and stuff and everything. That's just so crazy. And, it's funny because he would send me video or pictures of things that he would take from his backyard. And he's like, tell me what you see. So I put it on my big monitor and I'm pretty good at finding and pointing things out. And this one thing that he did send to me, it was crouched down and all you see it it's a video. You see it getting up. Now, mind you, it was not wide like a booger, but it was tall, really tall, lanky, skinny, but its hands, Tim, were below the knees. It was not normal looking. And it did not look like a Bigfoot. It was something completely else. And I was like, what the heck is that? And the eyes were kind of like an orangish color that I could kind of make out. I was like, what the heck? I was using other language, but you know what I mean? Like, what is this thing? And I was like, dude, this is something. That's something. And he's literally out there filming this thing. And I'm just like, I don't know how you're not freaking the heck. I need to like not pee my pants while I'm out there, Or they might come after me.
The funny thing you mentioned, the eye shine. I've never seen the eye shine before, but this past year, we was coming back from a festival that we was speaking at. Me and Brian Sawyer, his girlfriend Laura, and Robert Effler, and I took them to where that we got men. Dwight Campbell with Sasquatch Recon. I took them to where we got bluff charged, and it was after dark, and we didn't have none of our equipment with us. We didn't have no kind of protection, no pistols, guns, and no kind. We didn't have. I think Brian had one thermal. We just had a couple of headlamps, and where we got bluff charged wasn't that far from the truck, because we was wore out. We'd been there Friday and Saturday. And I told him, I said, well, let's run up here right quick and it won't take us. We can walk out there and back in 5 minutes. They said,
Right.
oh, yeah, okay. So we start going up the road to there, and Robert's wife's calling because one of the Bigfoots on his property, he calls Junior, is aggravating her. And so he's in the truck talking to her, and I hand him a flashlight and tell him, whenever you get through talking, if we're not back, just come around the road to us. And because you can see us from the truck. And as soon as we step out, we hear one yell off to our left.
Yeah.
We're standing there getting our lights and all that stuff together, and it yells again. We get behind the Forest Service gate, and there's a tree about that big around across the road.
Yeah.
We get to looking, and it's been placed there, and it's been stuff woven into it on each end. And so we documented that, went on out, and I showed Brian and them where that was at. And when I was showing them where we got bluff charged, I happened to think the reason that me and Dwight and Robin Moonshadow went down there when we got bluff charged was I was showing them a tree that's about big around as a telephone pole, but you could see the thumb wrapped around this side and the four fingers around this side, where it just pulled everything off that tree. And I told him, I said, let's go see if we can find that tree, and I'll show it to you. And we went out there, and of course the tree had died, and I showed him where it was at. Well, Brian gets to looking, and he said, is that eye shine up? And we got to look, and I said, no, that's too high for eye shine. That must be something else. Well, we see Robert coming. We'd been gone about 30 minutes or so, and 30, 40 minutes. And Robert starts coming around the road, and I holler at him. I said, meet us in the road out here. We're finding a lot of sign. We'd found like a 14-inch track and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I said, we're going to walk around the road just a little bit. And he hollers and said, you might not want to do that. We ain't got nothing for them. And we're like, got nothing for who? It didn't make sense. So, and once we got past that tree, we heard a yell over to our right-hand side. So we've got two yells on the left, one on the right. We get out there, and we tell Robert, and he says, we ain't got nothing for him. He comes on out to us, and I told him, I said, we're going to, right here's where we got bluff charged. We're going to walk just a little ways right here around this curve. Mm-hmm. And he said, we might not want to do that. We ain't got nothing for him. And we said, nothing for who? Because we'd heard him yell, but nothing up close. And when he was coming around where the yell come from our right, he shined his flashlight because he heard something and looked, and there's two blue glowing eyes. And he shined his flashlight, and he said it looked like it was about a 6.5 foot dog man took off running. And evidently the dog man was coming in behind us and didn't know Robert was in the truck, because there's a mound right there that the truck would have been hid from. Right. And so when he told us that, was like, with no protection and a dog man, we might want to head back to the truck. Well, we get to walking back to the truck, and I've never seen eye shine, but I look out in the woods and I seen two orange eyes shining about that big around and about that far apart. And I told him I was tickled. I mean, I was like a kid in the candy store. Guys, look, eye shine. I can finally say that I've seen eye shine. Right. And so we standing there looking at that, and every time I'd put my headlamp on it, it would turn its head. I'd take my headlamp off, and you could see the orange start up, and then it'd turn around, and there was both eyes. So it was turning its head. I'd put my light on it. Well, it's in between us and the truck. And Brian says, we got something coming, and the place where we heard the two yells, we've got one coming through the woods in behind us. The dog man is now behind us from the way it took off. And we've got this one out here in front of us, between us and the truck. And then up behind the truck on the ridge, one starts trying to mimic a hoot owl. So it starts coming down the ridge, and we're coming all together. But I told him, I said, this and up here that's eye shining. My truck, I've got a roll bar with big fog lights on it. I said, I'll light it up. Well, I get out to the truck, and this and behind the truck is cutting up, and I'm cutting up with it, and forget about the guys. I just left them out there standing in the road, and so they come out, and when the one that's I'm fooling with doing the alcohol, as soon as it sees the other people, it shuts up. So we finally get in the truck and head back down the road. And we go down the road about 300 yards, and there's a real sharp hairpin turn. We pull over and roll the windows down, and where we just left, it sounds like dogs barking. It sounded like two different dogs are barking. One was real deep and the other was high pitched. And we're like, that's where we just left. And we sat there and listened to it for a while. And Robert gets out and does a whoop. And as soon as he does a whoop, they shut up. They completely hush. Well, me and George went back down there a week or so ago. And where that place was where we saw the eye shine with Brian that he saw first, that we thought was something else. There's nothing there but trees. So evidently it was up in one of the big pine trees watching us. And that was one of the ones that come down and come in behind us. So that's we had that happen just a week or so ago, and right before that, all the stuff with Rachel. So we've been busy.
So I'm assuming too, because there's talk of when Bigfoot or a dog man is around, or any kind of cryptid, or something that we can't explain. Were the other animals, was it super, super quiet and you can't hear any other animals, bugs or
there
quiet?
Was nothing making a sound at all. I mean, nothing. But when we got down to where we pulled over in the truck, that far away, the katydids was hollering, crickets was a hollering, and all of that stuff. But up where we was at, it was dead quiet.
Interesting.
And when me and George went in there the other day, it was dead quiet. And I'm pretty sure we both got hit with infrasound, because my head felt like it was going to explode, not with a headache, but just pressure. And then George, I told him, I said, my head feels like it's about to explode. And he said, I can't see. And he said his vision got blurry, just like you took something and smeared it across his glasses. He couldn't see nothing. So we stood there just a minute, and it passed, and we get to walking back towards the truck, and where we got bluff charged at, George has got his SLS camera going, and there's about a 8.5 foot tall figure. It does stick figures, but it's standing in the road. So we're pretty sure
standing in the road when you guys were in the road too.
It was maybe, it wasn't 30 feet away.
But y'all couldn't see it with your own eyes, though?
Not with our own eyes. We could only see it on the SLS. And I put my SLS up, and it wouldn't pick it up. George's would, but mine wouldn't.
That's interesting.
Mine picked up a little blimp here and there, a smaller one.
Right.
But that's what we've been doing. And as soon as this weather gets to where we can, we're going to go back over to Rachel's and do that session, whatever how you say that. And that's it. And put some more cameras out and audio recorders and that kind of stuff. So, and back during deer season, I started hunting a place that was my research area, and I quit hunting in there for years. And I went back and started hunting again. And they come in behind me and started breaking sticks and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I saw one that was solid white, because I don't know of anything else in the wood that moves that smoothly.
Right.
it don't go up and down or nothing. It's just like it's floating on there. And
Really?
and I had my hearing aids in, and I could hear them walking around behind me and breaking sticks and all of that stuff. So there's letting me know that I honestly believe there's letting me know that they're still there and everything, because that's the ones that I've probably interacted with the most. And so there's just letting me know they're still there and everything was okay, because they didn't try to run me out or nothing like that. It was just,
they didn't do any like sounds to scare you or to get you to run off, right?
no, it's just breaking sticks and stuff like, we're up here.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So real quick question before we do call it, because as you guys know, you had Donna Copus on your show, and I'm very good friends with her. I'm part of her Maidens Watchers group. I'm actually going to go visit her this year to her place in Ohio and sit down and talk with her and do a little investigating out there, along with she's going to show me some really good besides paranormal hot spots, but where I might finally get to be able to see a watcher, because that's what they call them there, or because she's Shawnee Native too. So they have, everybody's got their own little names that they give, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, boogers, all those names. But or what was the one I was watching a documentary recently, the wood people, I think, or something like that is what they called them, or wood ape, something like that. Anyway, but I forgot what state that's in, but I was watching a documentary about that. Thought that was interesting. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go out and visit her. But, her and we talk a lot, whether it's through Messenger or just talking, on Messenger phone, on the phone part. But and her being on my show, sorry, one of my cat balls is going off. I have 3 haunted dolls, so it just started blinking. I'm like, hi ladies. Anyway, so these here, I'll show, well, you can't see because of my logo, but anyway, I talked to her about this. I said, because when she was raised in her area, because she's on native, land, her grandfather and her father taught her the ways of communicating and being okay with the watchers, like not to be afraid of them. And she grew up with them. And I asked her, I said, do you think that watchers, Bigfoot, boogers, whatever, can imprint on someone? And she said, yes, I do believe that, because Native Americans do believe in imprinting. And so she feels that she does have one that does watch her, make sure she's okay. And, she knows, or the watcher family that's near her home, that's active around her home, and her cabin that she has in her backyard of her home. They know the family, her grandkids, all that. What she'll do is she'll take like an apple pie or apple cake out. She'll make one, take it out there and leave it for them. And they just mow down on it. And she'll take out tobacco. She's taking out toys. And but then what she gets is something in return. They'll bring her stones. There's like stones with circles in the middle. And they'll place them on her property. For her. And I was like, that's so interesting. So it's interesting. Like I said earlier, I like to hear people's theories about it and their own experience. This is something she's experienced, and she does feel that a particular watcher or tribe can imprint on someone or a family. I find that kind of, interesting, thought, because I don't know, she's always been watched over. Now, she said that when she's gone to different areas, like to go into the woods, because she's in the woods all the time too, she sometimes doesn't feel so safe. When she goes into her woods that she's familiar with, she feels safe. She doesn't worry about being attacked. She doesn't worry about anything as well. And she got to experience a dog man. She finally saw one. And again, I asked her, do you think there's a relation? Do you think the dogmen are friends with the watchers and either guarding the watchers and protecting the watchers, or is it like a pet? I just kind of, I don't know. I just threw things out there, and she's like, she had her theories. And I'm like, I find that so interesting. I like to hear everybody's ideas and thoughts on that, because we can't really say in stone exactly until we have the hard facts, right? Just like you guys, you have some hard facts and the consistency of those hard facts that you can say, okay, yes, they do this, or yes, they don't do this, or whatever the case might be. What do you think about that? Do you think they can imprint?
I think they do. I think the one up on Standing Indian that I watched, and it didn't try to hide from me until I put my hand on my gun, because I went into my research area. A lot of times I'll be hunting and that kind of stuff, and I'd went in and switched all my stuff out, my cameras and my audio recorder, and come back out and was going deer hunt till dark. And I found a place where I could sit and hunt, and it probably couple 400 yards from my research area back towards the truck. And I've been sitting there about an hour reading my Bible, and I turn around and I look up on the hill, and there's one watching me, and he didn't try to hide. Even when I turned around and got my phone out and was trying to film it and all that stuff, he still didn't try to hide. And I think he was just letting me know that, you're okay. We're all right with you being here, because but when I touched my gun, that's when he hid. And to this day, I wish a million times over I'd never touched my gun, because I don't want them to think that I am going to hurt them. And I believe they honestly know that I'm not. I think that's the reason that they like messing with my audio recorders and all that stuff so much. I've got one video of a big old hairy hand coming around the tree and pulling the trail around the tree, and it's up about 10, 11 feet off the ground. And you can see a big old hand come in and pull it around the tree. So they're still messing. But I think they do. I think once they learn that you're not a threat, then they pretty much just, I think they still like to leave, because what else have they got to do? You're sitting in the woods, if you're not hunting or fishing. Yeah. Oh, here comes somebody. We know him. Let's mess with him and see what he's up to today. And I honestly think they do that. And it, as I've heard that they follow you home. I've not had anything here at the house, because I don't live in a good place for them to come around. I have heard yells up on the mountain above me, but I ain't going to say that they don't follow you home. I'm just saying that I don't live in an area where they would feel safe doing that. Right. And but I do feel like once you befriend them and they know you're not a threat, I honestly don't have, and I may get killed next time I go into the woods, but I don't have a fear of them. And that's because in enough situations between the bluff charge and the yells and screams and getting rocks thrown and all of this stuff. Yeah. And if they wanted me, they could have done had me. And but they don't. So evidently they're not interested in hurting me, or they'd have already done it. And that's just the way that I feel, because the opportunity's been there numerous times. Right. With them and Dogman. And because I go, if Miss Rachel can't go, or if I'm hunting or something and I go by myself, I'm still in the same area where the Dogmen are, where the Bigfoots are, and I'm by myself. So I think it's just one of them things that if they know you're not a threat, then they just entertain you and go on.
Yeah. So, and it's an area that you always go into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably, that's the thing. I think you're possibly correct that you might have one or two that are probably imprinted on you because they're so used to seeing you. And who knows that really they might be watching you from afar,
Mm-hmm.
because they do
Yep.
climb. So, on trees and stuff. So, but all right, well, we're at an hour 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. So, Tim, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you or be part of the NCI show?
You can watch the NCI show live on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It's NCI, and then after that, put in North Carolina Investigates, and that'll take you right to us. You can also find NCI on TikTok. If you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on TikTok at Tim Dills 13. You can find me on YouTube at Tim Dills 13. You can find me on X, Instagram, blah, 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 yada, 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 at Tim Dills 13. And if you need to email me, you can email me at timdills13 at Yahoo.
I love it. It's so straightforward. Not a whole bunch of different.
You took all the underscores, so I had to take the 13.
I know that's coming here soon. So, Rachel, if it is that you would like to be on, you don't have to share your handles if you don't want. It's up to you. But if you want people to reach out to you, or maybe people have questions for you, or maybe they want to have you on their show, how can people reach out to you?
I'm not set up like that yet. I'm just on Facebook. Rachel Jones. I've been telling everybody the best way to get up with me is to holler at Tim.
Tim. That's what he said. He goes, if you want Rachel on, just go through me. And I said, okay.
Yeah. I am on Snapchat, Crazy Domino 7. That's
okay.
I'm not on anything else besides Facebook and Snapchat.
Okay. All right. Well, as you guys know, embrace the coven, be curious, and explore the eerie with me in discovering the dark world with little Cindy, which is me. So Coven of Curiosity is a judgment-free zone. When joining the Coven of Curiosities, your experiences will be heard because they do matter and they are valued. So please rate, follow, like, share, and subscribe, please. For it's time to join the Coven and unveil the mysteries of the unknown. And if you'd like to be a part of this show, you are more than welcome to reach out to me at covenofcuriositiespod@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Instagram at coven_of_curiosities_podcast_SS. There's all the underscores. And my threads are the same without the SS. Facebook is just Coven of Curiosity Podcast. And you can also find me on Facebook too, which I post all the time, is Cindy Snap, which is my personal one. And then TikTok, of course, is Coven of Curiosity Podcast. And then YouTube is Coven of Curiosity Pod. So everyone, have a great evening. Thank you, Tim and Rachel, for coming on and enjoying me on my first real live YouTube show in a very long time. It feels good to be back on and doing this because you know me, I love to giggle and I love to talk and talk and talk and talk. So anyway, everyone have a great night. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.